first saw the square, I was immediately reminded of my days in elementary school, where I would make paper fortune tellers. I crafted them out of anything and everything: scrap paper, old quizzes, napkins, and even chopstick wrappers. The construction still comes naturally to me. Fold the corners in. Press down firmly, but gently enough so that no wrinkles form. Turn it over. Smooth out any creasing. Feel the paper flit between your fingers. I would scribble down predictions on the inside of the flaps and race to my friends, eager to alert them of their futures. "You are going to marry Justin Bieber," I'd announce. "You'll ace the test." I was young and inventing the future. I thought that predicting a false future was the only power I had. However, young people have been doing real work to shape the future for decades. As young people, we are more anxious about our futures and optimistic about changing them. We have created, led, and contributed to an array of movements. Casual injustices that were previously normalized are no longer acceptable, which motivates us to seek change. In 1960, 4 African-American college students, Jabril Kazan, Franklin McCain, Joseph McNeil, and David Richmond, organized a sit-in at a segregated lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. The sit-in attracted 300 participants in just 4 days. Months later, numerous dining facilities across the South became integrated, the Greensboro counter being one of them. This protest inspired a much wider sit-in movement in which 70,000 people participated, and the creation of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, a leading force in the civil rights movement. The SNCC helped advocate for the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and organized both Freedom Rides and the March on Washington. These efforts set the tone for youth involvement in activism. Inspired by the Freedom Riders, survivors of the tragic Stoneman Douglas High School shooting traveled throughout the country to educate young people on gun violence prevention and register over 50,000 voters. They organized the March for Our Lives, which 1.2 million people across the United States attended. That year, 67 gun safety bills were passed. Greta Thunberg led the largest climate strike in history at age 16. More than 4 million people across 161 countries participated in this walkout and demanded action regarding climate change. She has addressed U.S. Congress, UK Parliament, and the United Nations. Malala Yousafzai won the Nobel Peace Prize at age 17, becoming the youngest recipient of this award. Her efforts against educational restrictions for girls in Pakistan have grown into an international movement. The Malala Fund helps empower female leaders and advance access to education for girls who live in marginalized communities. The aforementioned are just a few among countless other young activists whose actions will have lasting effects. They are creating real change and actively impacting the future rather than leaving it up to a paper fortune teller. Making the future instead of making it up.